So when it comes to a quadratic function that look like this, y equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 3, instead of creating a table of value like this one, I can get a graphing calculator to do the whole thing for me. I can go to the y equals on my calculator. So once again, let me get back to the main screen. If I am on this page on my graphing calculator, I can press the y equals button at the top corner on the left hand side. This is the button that I would press, and I will enter the equation with negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. Once I have the equation entered, I can graph the parabola. When I press graph, oops, my window is not very nice. Let me change it back to a regular size window. If I go back to Zoom Standard and choose option number 6 here, I will see the shape of my parabola. And I can use my graphing calculator to give me the table of value. On your graphing calculator, it will give you the table by pressing second and table. Now you have all the points similar to those ones. So if you have a graphing calculator, it will save you a lot of time doing all these tedious work. Once you have the points plotted on your graph, and you will be able to create your parabola. And we will see a parabola that opens downward, giving us the coordinates, the vertex of the coordinate, the y-intercept, and the x-intercept. But once again, if you don't have a graphing calculator, you will still be able to draw your parabola by creating a table of values, which takes you some time to complete. Okay? So, once again, when it comes to a quadratic function, in this format, x squared and then x and then the number, when you see a quadratic in a trinomial format, we can identify the direction of opening based on the sign at the very beginning of your equation. So at the very beginning here, if it gives us a negative, it will be a parabola that opens downward. And the number in front of the x squared is understood to be a 1. Therefore, we have a regular size parabola. We are not stretching it out. We are not having a vertical compression. You can identify the y-intercept by reading the equation itself. The constant at the end will give us the y-intercept. It happens when x equals 0. When you replace the x here with 0, we will have the y value. That will be the y-intercept. And finally, there is a quick way to identify the x-coordinate of the vertex. Negative b divided by 2a. What is b and what is a? They are the numbers in front of the x squared and the x. So going back to the equation in example 1. With negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. This is the number for A. And here is the number for B. And of course, that will be the C. But we don't need that for the vertex. The C is to give us the y-intercept. We'll be using this and that to calculate the x-coordinate of the vertex. In this case, the x-coordinate equals negative b divided by 2 times a. Here is your B, and here is your A. Once you're done with your calculation, we will end up with positive 2 over negative 2. That's your x coordinate. So you don't need a graphing calculator to do all these. It just saves you some time, but eventually you will still be able to get to your vertex at the end. It just takes a bit more time to complete your work. In this case, we have -1 for the x value for your vertex. Once you have the x value, once you have the x coordinate of your vertex, you can substitute this number back to your equation, and that will give us the y coordinate, and that will be the vertex.